What's up, morons? It's the free Friday edition of Moron Money, where we give you not financial advice. This is not financial advice, but merely a springboard to doing your own research. We do 2 extra Moron Monies every single week on Sundays and Thursdays. So if you want to check out patreon.com/Blind Mike for more Moron Money, as well as the Blind Mike Project and other good stuff, then make sure you do that. But a free way to support the channel is just by subscribing, tapping the notification bell, hitting the like button, leaving a comment, whatever you think of this video, leave a comment below. And all of that helps the channel. It helps us grow, helps us get more eyeballs on this puppy. So please do that if you would be so kind. And here on Moron Money, I just try to give you a little bit of information, the news and updates on the stock market and crypto world. And then you go out into the world and find your own information. So we should start with the fact that I've kind of been talking about the possibility of a stock market crash for some time now. And apparently I'm not the only one. Michael Burry, who you may know from The Big Short, he predicted the crash in 2008 of the housing market. He says we are upon one of the biggest speculative crashes of all time, basically pointing to things like Tesla, even Bitcoin, he pointed to, and other major growth stocks and things that are basically people are hoping to get rich quickly, but we don't exactly know what they do. Now, I would put Bitcoin in a different league, but that's just because I believe in it. But I understand why it would be lumped in there, because much like Tesla, you have this belief that Elon Musk is going to come up with something great and it's going to change the world, but we don't know if that's going to happen. So does that warrant a stock that's $600 or $650 per share? So Michael Burry is essentially saying that you're going to see a lot of these growth stocks drastically cool and crash. So how to prepare for this stock market crash? My personal advice is do the same thing I've been talking about for 6 months on this program now. Don't invest in things that are going to, if the only benefit is get rich quick scheme. So this is not the time to be investing in Amazon, GameStop, any of the Wall Street Bets stocks. Now, that's not to say that Wall Street Bets doesn't throw some names out there that I like Tilray is a cannabis stock that I invest in, one of my largest percentages of holdings. So I like Tilray for the future. Now, I'm also prepared to see that drastically drop. We're about $17, $18 a share right now. I am ready to see, $5 or $6 a share, back where it was when I bought it. So basically, what Michael Burry is warning you of is a drastic cooling of a lot of these growth stocks. So the best way to prepare for that is to only be invested in things you trust for the future. I think it's a good time to invest in ETFs. Just some to throw out there that I particularly like would be SPY, SPYD, SDY, Schwab, Dividend Equity ETF, Vanguard ETFs, ARK Invest. So, look into ETFs that you feel are safer and feel will sustain any sort of a crash. And again, ARKK, I mentioned ARK, but ARKK may suffer from this sort of growth stock crash. So ETFs that you like. Also, I've I've spoken ill of dividend stocks only because I think they're overrated in this sense. I think dividend stocks are good to invest in. If you're going to invest a substantial amount of money in ETFs, dividend stocks will help you get your returns quicker. And I would also suggest automatic reinvestment. But the only reason I say dividend stocks are overrated is because you'll see a ton of videos, 3 dividend stocks that'll pay your rent, 3 dividend stocks that'll make you a millionaire. And, but that is true if you invest. So basically the breakdown comes to, say you invest in 3 of the highest dividend yield paying stocks that are trustworthy. To pay your rent every month, you would have to put in roughly $250,000 investment. So the idea that they're just going to pay your rent for you is a little silly. they can, of course, be a good investment. And if you have $250,000 to invest, that helps pay your mortgage or your rent or whatever you're paying. And it's one less thing you have to worry about. But my point is, they kind of trick you with these titles of videos. So guys like you and me will think, oh, I wanted to pay my rent if I throw a couple $100 into SPYD or something. That's just not the case. But dividend stocks and just ETFs in general are a good thing to be looking at right now. But more so, just stocks that you trust to last the next 6 months, a year, but more so 10 years. I don't have a single stock that I plan on selling in the next year, and some of that is for tax reasons. If you hold a stock less than a year, and this is true of crypto as well, if you hold it for less than a year, your capital gains tax is in a higher bracket than it would be if you keep it for more than a year. So part of that is tax reasons, but part of it also is because I only invest in things that I trust going forward. So the, quote, growth stocks that I hold would be Tilray, like I mentioned, which I think will be a leader in the cannabis sector once that opens up. Penn National, which I believe is going to be the supreme leader in the gambling sector. I like them a lot more than DraftKings, and I think those are the top two in once gambling legalizes around the country. Velodyne Lidar, which we'll talk about in a minute. I'll hold off on that. But there's Remark Holdings, which is an AI company. That's a penny stock. Nano Dimension, a 3D printing company, NNDM, that I like a lot. But these are stocks that are risky, but I like for the next 5 or 10 years, based on what I've learned about them. So, any stocks that you're buying that you think might just pop off in the next 6 months or something, and you're going to make a shit ton of money and then cash in, hold off on that for now. And that's why I always talk about dollar cost averaging and averaging down. I think in general, those are the best strategies, but those are the strategy if you're preparing for a crash. And also be aware that a lot of people ride, that's a very common strategy, is dollar cost averaging. It's not revolutionary that I'm coming up with here. But the problem is, I'm trying to think of a stock. Let's use Plug Power, sitting around $30 a share right now. If you keep averaging down with Plug Power, and you're buying it at $25, you're buying some at $20, you're buying some at $15, that's great. And if you believe in Plug Power, that's how you should play it. But always be aware, there's a chance that you average all the way down to zero and you ride it to the demise of the company. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with specifically Plug Power. That's just the first one that came to mind. But just be aware of that. A lot of people, try to keep average down, and ride it all the way down to bankruptcy. So, how do you prevent that? Well, odds are that's not going to happen with Google or Amazon or Netflix, and I do believe Netflix is a discount right now. So stocks like that, I think, are a lot more trustworthy in this time. And if there is the crash that Michael Burry is talking about, then that can be a good time to buy for a lot of investors. So you may be able to, if you're able to sustain a crash, then you may be able to make a killing, as I did last year during the crash of the pandemic. So prepare for that. Ask any questions you want, and I can help you along as we prepare for the crash. So fire away in the comments. Let me know any questions you have about what I'm talking about here, and we'll move on to cryptocurrency, as Mark Cuban has been ripped off. He says he was part of a rug pull. Well, what did you expect, Mark Cuban? Mark Cuban, who has been kind of, poo-pooing Bitcoin and praising the likes of Dogecoin, was an investor in Titan, a coin on the Iron network, I guess. I don't know a lot about Iron or Titan, and by that I mean I don't know anything about them other than the fact that Mark Cuban has invested, and he was singing their praises for the last couple weeks here. Well, he rode them, as we talk about dollar cost averaging, from $64, which is odd for a stable coin to begin with, that it was up to $64, all the way down to nil, bupkis, nada. So Mark Cuban is now calling for crypto regulation. It's funny how when Mark Cuban gets screwed over, all of a sudden you want crypto regulation. Well, Mark Cuban is kind of calling for centralizing a decentralized network. It's hard to sing the praises of decentralized finance and then say, we want this centralized a little more. So shame on Mark Cuban for not doing his due diligence and making fun of all these people that buy different coins and then being part of a rug pull, which happens. That's why I say, again, much like my logic with stocks, I trust Bitcoin first and foremost, and then Ethereum. I like Cardano a lot. That's my second biggest holding behind Bitcoin. But many would say that I'm the same type of fool that Cuban is for believing in Cardano. I believe in it a lot more than Titan or Shiba Inu or any of these. But my point is, be careful. Look into Cardano, see what it is. I also have some Chainlink, some Litecoin, XRP. And then as a gamble, I have Zilliqa and VeChain. Now I just bought a little bit of. So, and again, those are complete gambles, Zilliqa and VeChain. And I mean, of course, they're all gambles, really. But you are much better off looking into these coins, seeing what they do, seeing if they have a purpose. And, if you believe in, even if you believe in a coin, even if it's Bitcoin or whatever, don't spend an amount that is going to cripple you financially if you lose it, because that's a very real possibility, as Mark Cuban found out. So I will not shed a tear for Mark Cuban. He was very cocky about his knowledge of the crypto market. So in a way, it's almost a little funny to see what happened to him, but I enjoy him on Shark Tank. So I hope he's all right. And then what was the other crypto news? Oh, it wasn't crypto news. What I want to do now is play a little game, a new segment. I have not come up with a better name than this. Just beat the stock or beat my stock or something like that. But essentially, what I want to do is bring up a stock in a certain sector that I like and see in the comments below if you can find one in that sector that is better than me, if you have any recommendations or stocks that I should look into. But the one I will mention today is Velodyne Lidar, ticker VLDR. I've talked about it a lot. It's a larger percentage of my stock market holdings. And what Velodyne does essentially is they are in the smart car space, and they've developed the sensory technology that is in all smart cars, or most smart cars, I should say, as we gear up for that revolution, which is terrifying, but you might as well get on board. So Velodyne Lidar just came out with Velobit, which is essentially just an upgrade to their sensory technology. Now, you should be cautioned when you look into Velodyne that there's some infighting. David Hall versus former chair versus current chair, Brad Culkin, I believe. David Hall says this is a fight to the death, and he's not giving up. Brad Culkin is his brother-in-law who replaced David Hall as chair of Velodyne. That has affected the stock price over the last year. Now, everything I've read said this is the problem with SPACs, is things like that. There will be management changes and all that sort of thing. So I like what Velodyne does, but I don't know if that infighting, how much longer it's going to persist, and the effect it's going to have long term. So beware of that. But other than that, I do like Velodyne Lidar a lot, VLDR. So look into them, but don't just look into them. Also, let me know in the comments if there are stocks in the smart car world in general, whether it's LiDAR or any other technology that is going into the building and manufacturing of smart cars that you think is better than Velodyne. Let me know in the comments, and we'll update you next week, as well as give you another stock to see if you can beat that one. And let me know if you like that segment too, because I think it could be fun, because it'll give me. The reason I like it is that it'll give me suggestions to look into, and also give the people. I think the people will get, you get VLDR as a suggestion, but then you can say, Mike, I like this one that SnotRag48 recommended in the comments. So if you would be so kind, leave a comment, a like, subscribe to the channel if you like more on money. as well as the Blind Mike Project, which the free episodes go up on this very YouTube as well. So make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend. If you think anyone would like more on money, make sure you share it on social media and tell your peeps about it. And of course, we do episodes on Sunday and Thursday. So we'll be back Sunday on patreon.com/blindmike. Until then, let's keep making money, folks.